Tennis strings are the most important part of your racket setup.
And this was our most popular video last year.
So here are our top 5 poly strings 2025. Today we are going to be going through our top 5 polyester strings.
Yes, our list from last year was fairly controversial. A lot of you agreed, a lot disagreed, and there are 3 new entries, I think.
There are. As we go through, obviously we shall mention what was on the list last year and what has surpassed, usurped the current leaderboard to top our 2025 list.
Yes, at this point it is important to say that the strings in this list we have used extensively. There are loads and loads of other great polyester strings out there. Some we've used a little bit, some we haven't used at all, and that may well be why they're missing from this list.
There's also an element of which strings we've sold really well, and feedback from customers and strings that people keep asking for more and more, and also strings that people are choosing to upgrade their rackets with when they purchase a new racket and they're requesting particular strings. That's how kind of we gauge where the most popular ones are, and then obviously our own personal opinions of using them in different styles of rackets overall, which we think are the best, and that is how we come up with our top 5. Of course, when you can only have 5 strings in your list, there are some unfortunate losers, ones that just miss out.
Yeah, we did have a bit of an argument, didn't we, about making it a top 10, because there's just so many to choose from.
People's attention span's too short. No one's going to listen to 10 strings in a row. We're going to stick with 5, but we're going to add honorable mentions, which kind of makes it 10 anyway.
First of all, we have Razor Soft from Technofiber, a fantastic string, just didn't quite make that top 5 basically. Yeah. We really liked it, just not as much as everything else. Very, very popular out in the world of tennis, and popular here as well, just not top 5 popular. And then we also have Tor M8 from Grapple Snake, and as we said, we are just in the process of testing this at the moment, so we're not well versed enough yet to say it's in the top 5, but stay tuned for next year because it may well be.
Yeah, we've been testing all the Grapple Snake strings and we have really enjoyed them all so far. We haven't quite got down into the detail of picking out which our favourite one is. We think it's Tor M8 so far. We're going to have a full review coming out in early 2025.
And then we have a couple more to mention, and this is more based on just sort of popularity and sales in the shop, right?
So this is obviously more sort of legacy strings, you could say. Luxilon Alu Power remains a very popular string, despite its kind of tension maintenance and life being so short-lived. In that short-lived period, it's very good, which is why some people still really like it. And of course the old classic, still kind of, I guess, Nadal's legacy still living on. There is still a huge demand for RPM Blast. It still does incredible things with spin, what it's supposed to, but obviously just we find it a little bit too harsh now, and the newer co-polys coming out are just a nicer experience overall.
Yes, it's an honourable mention for, it's like a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yes.
There you go.
Maybe we should run our own BBC Sports personality, but
for tennis strings. No one's watching that.
No, maybe not. So there you have it. Those ones that nearly missed out. If you can think of any others that you think deserve an honourable mention or should have been in our top 5, drop us the old comment below and we will tell you why you're wrong.
I'm sure they've already started commenting below. Yes,
probably without even watching.
Yeah.
We see you. In at number 5, we have not a new entry, an existing entry, but it's slid down the mountain.
Yes, it first appeared in 2022.
As our number 1 string.
Yeah, and last year it was
number 3.
Number 3, and this year it is number 5. Do you want to tell the ladies and gentlemen what it is?
From our friends at Luxilon, it is our favourite Luxilon string. It is 4G Soft in the beautiful golden colourway and our 1.25 gauge. 4G Soft is obviously on the stiffer side of strings when compared to something like an Alu Power, but obviously not as stiff as 4G, hence the name 4G Soft. We really like it because of its overriding playability.
Yep.
Its tension maintenance is very good for a poly, and also it's gold.
Oh, that's the key consideration, isn't it, really?
I love gold.
Was that gold member?
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, the one of the things that's interesting about it for a string that is fairly stiff is how comfortable it feels, how comfortable it plays, much more so than other strings of a similar type. I think that's what initially drew us to it, and it's sort of slide down the rankings is that there's a few others that do basically what 4G does even better. You say?
So there you have it. Our number 5 string on our top 5 strings in 2025 is Luxilon's 4G Soft.
Boom.
In at number 4, we have from our friends over at ReString Sink. This is a new entry.
Yes, a brand new string this year, and it is absolutely fantastic, isn't it?
It is a very, very nice string. It is, of course, the yin to Zero's yang. It is the control version of the ReString string, but maintains a really nice, slippery, slick, spinny, controllable beauty of a string.
Yes, we really like Sink on its own. It goes particularly well, we found, in stiffer power frames.
Yes.
Joe really likes it in his E-Zone, doesn't he? We found it plays really nice in a pure drive, for example. Maybe not so much in your thinner beamed rackets.
Yeah, if you've already got the control from the frame, you add in the control from the string. Too much control, too much of a good thing.
Well, and this is interesting. So I play with the head speed, and I use Sink as part of a blend. So Sink is, and again, I think a lot of players we found are using Sink blended with natural gut or a multi-filament in hybrids. So it's just like a really good all-round string that is working for a lot of players.
And this is where I can make somewhat of a top secret announcement.
Oh yeah.
So we have had word over from our friends at ReString that there is a new string coming. And the new string is going to be released somewhere around the spring next year. A bit of hype about it. We're getting our first little glimpse of it towards the end of 2024, early 2025. So we'll be sure to keep you posted on exactly what it does. Who knows?
We don't even know what colour it's going to be,
Could
do
it be
we?
a spin string? Could it be something else? I've got no idea.
No.
I'm guessing.
There we have it. At number 4, ReString Sink.
In at number 3, we have from Yonex.
Poly.
Friends over in Japan.
Oh, sorry, I thought you paused for so long.
Yeah, for effect. From our friends over in Japan, we have Yonex's Poly Tor
Strike.
So maybe not what you expecting, because last year, for those of you who are avid watchers, will know Polytor Pro was in at number 4. And now the Polytor family has risen 1 spot to spot number 3 and changed to Polytor Strike. You might be thinking, how could that happen? Because Polytor Strike existed last year.
Well, like we said, we did some extensive testing this year, didn't we? And we did a video back in the summer where we used 9 different Yonex strings.
Every single Yonex string.
Every single Yonex string, and fully expecting for Polytor Pro, as it was one of our favourites from last year, to be towards the top. And it's still fantastic, but almost unanimously and almost instantly, we all went, ooh, what is that? And it was Polytor Strike. We absolutely loved it, didn't we?
So Polytor Pro is one of the most popular strings on tour. It's really widely used. And I think for a top-end player, that still probably is the preference in the Polytor family, because it's more of a control string and it kind of does what you expect it to do a bit more, so it comes more down to the player. But we were really surprised by Polytor Strike, mainly for the crispness of the feeling.
Really sharp, really sharp, really crisp, like snappy, but without being uncomfortable, which is often the trade-off you make. And it felt like you were getting more snap, more crisp, without losing anything, which is remarkable.
So there you have it, a new entry at number 3 on our top 5 strings, Yonex's Polytor Strike. So in at number 2 from Toroline. Not that really helps you narrow it down, because there's so many Toroline strings. And last year at number 2, we also had a Toroline string.
Yes.
And if you remember, it was
Toro.
Toro. Has Toro remained at number 2?
It has not.
Not only is it not remained, it's been booted out of the whole list.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really make much sense, but there you have it. The replacement of Toro is still in the Toro family, and it is the brand new, well, relatively new, Otoro. Oh my, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's kind of feels like Toro's just had an upgrade with Otoro, and you kind of just get a bit more of everything. So Toro is great, we still really like it.
Yep.
Otoro just feels like a better version of it, almost.
Yeah, it's a little bit softer, a little bit more controllable, and a better colour.
Yeah, a little bit more green.
Look how green it is.
And that is critical, right?
And it still comes in the giant condom packet, so winning. So Otoro is of course a hexagonal string, so nice in shape, so you can get plenty of spin, but also has that nice slick feeling as well. And that's why I really like it. So it is our number 2 string of the year. A high accolade.
Yes.
Sorry, I hope they're happy.
Yeah, and it goes in this. I think that's part of what's interesting. It goes in well in every racket we've tried it with.
That is very true.
It is one of the only strings we've put in all 3 of our own rackets, and all still liked. And normally we find that this one suits certain play styles, certain rackets, but Otoro seems to be, and I guess this is why it's number 2.
So if you haven't tried Otoro, I really suggest you do, because it's great.
Yeah.
Number 2 on the list, top 5 strings. The moment you have all been waiting for. Number 1 on our list. Our favourite string, our top string of 2025.
The 2nd year in a row, holding on to top spot, we have Zero from ReString. It is still our favourite string, by quite a margin, would you say?
I wouldn't say by quite a margin.
Smaller than last year.
Yeah, smaller than last year. The amount of power and spin whilst remaining some nice feel and control is remarkable, and that is why it is our number 1 string.
Yes, everything is kind of compared against it now, and we still haven't found anything. There's some strings that are more comfortable, some strings do more spin, but nothing seems to do everything the same way Zero does.
Yeah, to Ben's point, we do. So we're currently testing all the grapple snake range, and we have Zero in as a control.
Yeah.
As a control string to compare them all against. It helps us kind of gauge where they're at, and that kind of speaks volumes for Zero and why we use it. In our demos, if we're testing between 2 rackets, we'll often use Zero as well, because we know what the string can do.
It's in my racket at the moment.
Yeah, it really allows in the rackets to kind of play their part, because we know the string so well.
Yes, and I think that to what Josh was saying about the grapple snake test, when we're using all those other grapple snake strings, you go, this is really nice, and then you pick up the Zero, you go, yeah, it's not as good though. And that's kind of how we feel about it. It's whatever else you use, it just doesn't feel quite as good.
So there you have it, our top 5 strings of the year, sitting top of the mountain for the 2nd year in a row. At number 1 is ReString Zero. If you haven't tried it, give it a go. So there you have it, our top 5 strings of 2025. Here they all are, the lucky winners. As always, a close run thing and a very personal choice. There's lots of discussions off camera between me, Ben and Joe about which ones we really thought deserved to be there, what movements there would be. There'll be obviously some that have missed out. Your favourite string might have missed out. Please let us know. Put it in the comments, say, but Josh, what about head rip control? Well, A, it's all polys, so you can take your VS Touch and stick it. If you enjoyed our top 5, or if you didn't, if you think we're wrong, please comment either way below and let us know if you've tried these strings and if there's any other strings you think we have
missed out,
overlooked.
Yeah, well, maybe wait for 2026, could be there.
Maybe. In a small announcement for those of you that are still watching, as you know, we are a full-time tennis coaching team as well as product reviewers, and whilst we used to have all our coaching videos on this YouTube channel, we have moved. We are creating a new channel, so if you would still like to see our coaching tips and videos of us playing and trying to recreate pro shots, head over to still see all our coaching videos. Please subscribe to the new channel, PH Tennis-Coaching.
Oh, and subscribe to this one as well if you haven't.
If you haven't subscribed to this one, what are you doing? Let's go.
Thank you very much for watching. You'll see us very soon.